On the final day of the college entrance exam, I was resting my head on my desk, trying to calm my nerves before the afternoon test, when Holt Chen, my childhood friend, gently shook me awake. He leaned close and whispered in my ear, "You are so ugly." I blinked, stunned. A few feet away, his friends burst into laughter. They giggled like children who'd gotten away with something cruel. Later, he explained himself with an awkward smile. "I lost a game of truth or dare," he said. "The punishment was to find a girl and tell her she was ugly in front of everyone. You were the only one I'm close to, so I came to you. I didn't mean it. How could you be ugly? You're the girl I'll marry someday." He said it so casually, like it was a joke. Like my heart didn't matter. I once asked him, "Do you think one point in the college entrance exam, just one, can change everything? Can it send us down totally different roads in life?" He laughed and said no. Even if we both got one multiple choice question wrong, it wouldn't matter. We'll still be together. But today, he had a choice, and he chose to humiliate me. He didn't even consider how that one sentence might shake me before one of the most important exams of my life. That moment told me more than any exam result ever could. No, even without a wrong answer on the college entrance exam, we were already heading down different paths. Because of his choices, I said nothing. I simply changed my preferred university. Quietly, without drama, I began preparing for a future without him. The rain had been pouring for days, fitting, somehow. But that final afternoon, as the last subject approached, politics, the clouds finally broke. A pale beam of sunlight pierced through the gray sky. During our short lunch break, Holt invited me to the library, like always. I agreed, thinking maybe I owed myself one last memory. But when we arrived, we realized something strange. We weren't even in the same class. It hit me then. We'd already become strangers who shared a past but no longer a future. He continued chatting with his classmates and even began comparing answers from the morning exam. Even though I didn't want to participate, I couldn't help but overhear. It appeared that I had answered a few questions incorrectly, but what has already been done cannot be corrected. I do not want to keep listening. Lester affects my mood. I just want to make the most of the remaining time, rest, and study thoroughly to perform well on the final exam. Furthermore, looking around, many classmates have already rested their heads on their desks. I interrupted Holt Chen, who was happily chatting, and gently reminded him, "Could you please go outside and talk? Another exam is scheduled for this afternoon, and many of my classmates are taking naps nearby." Holt Chen froze for a moment, then smiled brightly. "You are correct, Leela. I will take them outside right now." As they passed me, he led his friends into the hallway. One of the men clasped his hands in apology. "Sorry, Mrs. Holt. Get some rest and ace it this afternoon." Holt Chen tapped the boy on the head. "Get out of here. Why are you shouting nonsense?" Then he smiled at me. "Leela, don't worry about them. Just do what you need to." I lay on the desk, hoping to relax and sleep well, finally. However, the study area and hallway were separated only by a glass wall, and the door was not correctly closed. Their conversations remained as irritating as the buzz of mosquitoes. Now and then, bursts of laughter broke out. I closed my eyes, feeling drowsy and exhausted. However, their voices made it difficult to fall asleep. The thought of time slipping away and the impending return to the exam hall made me anxious, preventing me from sleeping. Someone just tapped my shoulder. I opened my blurry eyes, propped myself up, and realized it was Holt Chen. He bent down and brought his face very close to mine, so close that his hair brushed against mine. My heart began to race, and my face warmed. The boy I'd had a crush on for years came this close. To say I wasn't moved would be a lie. His warm breath caressed my neck. I shrank back, but Holt Chen pressed his advantage, drawing even closer to me. He didn't seem to mind the ambiguous distance. I wanted to ask Holt Chen what you were doing. But I had only said a few words when his voice cut me off. "You are so ugly." He enunciated clearly. His tone and expression were colder than I had ever seen. The hallway erupted in cheerful laughter. Once again, the guy who had just given me a fist salute and called me Holt's wife yelled loudly, "Were you tough when you called us out earlier? You don't dare to say anything now that Holt has said she is ugly." Someone immediately joined in. "If you ask me, every man should have a childhood sweetheart. A little scolding will usually get them to behave right away." Tilda, look at Leela Lin's stunned expression. She appeared shocked. Did she think Holt was going to confess to her right now? Holt Chen's friends burst out laughing, some clutching their stomachs and others pointing at me. There was one more person. Arya Chow is pursing her lips. She smiled at me with crescent-shaped eyes. Her face is as radiant as a peach blossom. If I hadn't realized it was a mockery, I might have been pleased to see such a lovely girl smiling at me. Arya Chow is a returning student and the newly crowned campus belle at our school. She is also the only girl in this hallway. I'm not sure when she arrived or how well she knows Holt Chen, even though she is not in the same class as him or the others. Lila, some of us couldn't concentrate on our studies and were playing games. I lost and chose truth or dare. The dare was to find a girl and tell her she is ugly in front of her face. This is my punishment. You have no idea how bad I feel saying this to you. Holt Chen ended his brief explanation without waiting for my response. Then he turned and walked directly back to his friend. He made me burst out laughing. Then they just left me like that. My heart gradually grew colder. Is this the same Holt Chen I used to love as a protector? He would not back down, even though his face was bruised from being hit only a week earlier. He promised that no matter what, we'd stay together in the hallway. The teasing from Holt Chen's friends continued, and Holt was going all out to win the school belle's favor. Belle Lang here. Of course, we have to admit Lila Lin is ugly, right? Lang Arya Cho did not speak, only smiled more shyly. Her face flushed red. She jokingly hit the boy's arm, but her gaze shifted to Holt Chen. Holt Chen appeared to understand her thoughts and smiled at her. So that's how things are. Holt Chen lost the game and came to tell me that I was ugly. Arya Chow was present the entire time. In other words, someone as smart as him did not choose a more innovative way to avoid the dare and keep all of the girls from feeling awkward. Instead, he specifically targeted me and called me ugly in front of Arya Chow. If I'm not mistaken, they must have gotten close a long time ago. Back when I didn't know. Just last year, on this day, Holt Chen insisted that we make a promise to meet after the college entrance exam. He had no idea how overjoyed I was when he finally fulfilled my years of longing. I was lying in bed that night, reading shoujo manga, fantasizing about us being together, rolling around excitedly and giggling like a fool until dawn, but now all my eager anticipation, all my girlish fantasies, have turned into a joke. My misplaced affection has transformed me into a clown. My mind is replaying the scene in which Holt Chen called me ugly. His friends laughed at me, and he and Arya Cho exchanged knowing smiles. Every memory stabbed at my heart. Tears are already welling in my eyes. Holt Chen was still chatting excitedly with friends, not even glancing at me. I suddenly felt that these tears couldn't fall. They were not worth it. I dug my nails into my palms, forcing myself not to cry. Do not make yourself into an even bigger joke. Mistakes cannot be undone, no matter how much you dwell on them with regret. People who have changed cannot return to their previous state, regardless of how sincerely you treat them. All I can do now is continue forward. Make the right decisions from now on. There is only 1 hour left until the political exam. I refuse to dwell on the pain. Halt. Chen has had me constantly wondering when he turned rotten during his senior year of high school. Every precious minute and second from now on will be devoted to exam preparation, with no time wasted for him. After taking a few deep breaths, my mind feels much clearer. I quickly packed my belongings and got up to leave. Holt Chen dashed after me, tightly gripping my wrist. Lila Lin, they are all my friends. It's only a game. Why do we take it so seriously? It's not fun to cheer up. Don't cause a scene by calling me ugly and then telling me to cheer up. I'm not really that generous. 1 week before the college entrance exam, while working on problems with Holt Chen, we encountered a multiple choice question. It's incorrect. The options were extremely misleading at the time. I got this question wrong, but Holt Chen answered it correctly. Consider how a single point on a college entrance exam can outrank thousands of other students. A single multiple choice question score difference could result in attending an entirely different university and pursuing a different major. I asked Holt Chen if getting one multiple choice question wrong would cause our life paths to diverge forever. His smile was warm and radiant in the sunlight, deserving of every beautiful adjective. Back then, he was sure that no matter what, we would stay together. Wherever you go, I'll follow. Nothing can separate us, not even a simple multiple choice question. But now that he's lost the game, he chooses to humiliate me without considering the consequences for my afternoon exam. I believe that, even without considering the college entrance exam or multiple choice questions, we are no longer on the same path because of his decision. I gently shook the hand. Holt Chen was holding me with you. As you mentioned, it's only a game. I am not angry. My stomach is slightly upset. I'm going to use the restroom and then probably head straight to the exam hall. There's no need to wait for me. I even gave him a faint smile to make him think I wasn't angry. Admitting anger now would only give Holt Chen an excuse to harass me indefinitely. I cannot let him continue to influence my college entrance exams. Holt Chen finally let go, patting my head and speaking in a gentle tone. I knew it. Lilo is the best, so go ahead. Good luck this afternoon. I smiled sweetly as I nodded at him. Then I turned and went to another floor, finding a quiet corner to review the key points. No need to worry, Holt Chen. I will undoubtedly do my best and spare no effort. Race against time to a bright future without you. The final subject of the college entrance exam went smoothly, and even the uncertain parts were filled out. When I walked out of the exam hall, I noticed the dark clouds had dissipated. The sunlight shone brightly across the open sky. I immediately felt much more relaxed. I ran into Holt Chen and his group just outside the exam building. They were still chatting, but their gazes all turned to me at once. I walked past them as if I hadn't noticed them at all. Leela, why didn't you say hello? Are you in a bad mood? Didn't you do well on the exam? Holt Chen stepped forward and grabbed my shoulders. Let's go for a big meal. You can eat whatever you want as my treat. His physical contact used to make me nervous and my heart race, but now it only makes me sick. I returned his gaze with indifference. I'm going home. You are all having fun. Holt Chen frowned. Why didn't we agree long ago to hang out after the exam tonight? Are you doing this on purpose because you are angry with me because I called you ugly at noon? I've already explained. It was only a game, and saying those words hurt me too. Why don't you put yourself in my shoes and show me some consideration? I assumed a troubled expression. My head hurts a little. I want to go home and rest. His friends began to tease him loudly. Are you sure you want to go home? Area Chow is going tonight. If you don't keep an eye out, Holt's wife's title may change hands. Holt Chen leaned in closer and lowered his voice beside me. You had a stomachache at noon and are now experiencing a headache. You better not make excuses to let me down. Let me reiterate that of all the girls here, you are the only one I know. I barely know the others. How could I call a stranger ugly? You are one of my own and the closest to me. That is why I came to you. That was not my intention. How could you be ugly? You are the woman who will be my wife someday. Think about it again. Would you like to go out tonight? Just then, Arya Cho arrived. She waved excitedly at Holt Chen. I'm here. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Well, she arrived just in time. Anyone who gets close to Holt becomes the target of jokes among his brothers. If Arya Chow wants the role of Holt's wife, she can take it without hesitation. I shake my head at Holt Chen. I seriously have a headache. I am leaving. He simply threw out a sentence. Don't have any regrets. If I get drunk tonight and end up kissing or hugging someone, it's because you failed to keep an eye on me. Holt Chen never contacted me again, and he showed no concern for my headache. Even though I made it up. He most likely had a great time and made good progress with Arya Chow. Reflecting on the boy who would become nervous and concerned just from hearing me sneeze makes me nostalgic. But now it's as if the boy I liked has been possessed and is no longer alive. The next day, when I returned to school to move my luggage, I saw Holt Chen again. I was outside the school gate with my parents, loading the luggage into the trunk of the car. Mom muttered beside us. You mentioned that Holt was busy with something. He came to our house earlier and offered to help with the move, but now he's gone. However, Dad's expression darkened as he looked into the distance. Is that it? Take a look at what is keeping you busy. I followed my father's gaze beneath the camphor tree. Holt Chen was holding 2 large cardboard boxes, on which large characters were written, Class 13 Grade 12. Ari Chow. The girl beside him wiped the sweat off his temple. Her smile was as radiant as a flower, and her striking appearance made it impossible to miss her. It was Arya Chow herself. Holt Chen moved his lips, muttering something unintelligible. Then Arya Chow stood on tiptoes. She placed a quick kiss on his cheek. Holt Chen's eyes lit up. His grip on the cardboard box loosened slightly. The top few notebooks fell to the floor. The checkered covers, available in a variety of colors, were immediately recognizable. These were the subject notebooks. I had painstakingly organized the key points. Holt Chen suffered a relapse of COVID during his senior year of high school, resulting in a persistent high fever that kept him at home for a week. From that point forward, I began compiling a duplicate set of keynotes for him, which I continued to do until his college entrance exams. Now all of my notes have ended up in Arya Chow's box. What I thought was a sincere effort turned out to be Holt Chen's little trick to curry favor with Arya Chow. Holt Chen paused at the location of the notebook on the ground, bending down to set the cardboard box aside, but Arya Chow stopped him right away. Are you stupid? Why pick up something you won't use? Simply throw it away, Tilda. It will light and halt the load. He paused for a moment. Then I grunted in agreement and quietly let Arya Chow toss my hard work into the trash. Of course. My parents recognized the notebooks as mine. I could have gone to bed before midnight, but I frequently stayed up half an hour later to assist Holt Chen with his notes. I always wrote his notes first. Then I created a copy for myself. All of this was clear to my parents, who were mindful of our friendship. I haven't told my parents what happened at noon yesterday, but there's no need to now. They probably already know that my inseparable relationship with Holt Chen has come to an end. My father, with a stern expression, loaded all of the luggage into the car at once. It is bad luck, let's go home. Just as we got into the car, Holt Chen dashed over and knocked on the window beside me. He appeared unusually flustered. Hello Uncle and Aunt Leela, when did you arrive? My mother rolled down the car window. We've been watching you for a while now, and whether it was because of the hot weather or sheer nervousness, beads of sweat the size of peas dripped from Holt Chen's forehead. He dashed to the passenger side window and pleaded with my mother and aunt not to misunderstand him. That's only a friend of mine. Her parents couldn't make it because they were out of town, so she asked me to help with the move at the last minute. I hadn't had a chance to tell you yet. My family of 3 fell silent inside the car. Holt Chen became even more anxious and yelled at me. Leela, why don't you say something too? You know Joe and I are just friends. Do not let your parents misunderstand. Just friends, more like lip friends. If you asked me before I could respond, my mother beat me to it and snapped back. She feigned surprise. Do friends exchange kisses on the cheek? If old Chen taught you that, I cannot trust Gigi to be friends with you. Holt Chen looked visibly stunned. His face immediately flushed red. No, my father never taught me that. She insisted on kissing me, and I couldn't get away while holding the box. Auntie, please do not tell my parents. It's just a misunderstanding. My mother waved at Holt Chen. There's no need to explain so much, kid. The college entrance exams are over, and you have the freedom to choose who you date. It is not our place to interfere. The only thing we care about is that if you are in a relationship, you should have expressed it sooner. If our Gigi had known, she would have kept her distance and not given you her notes. And your girlfriend would not have thrown them all away. You showed disrespect to both girls. Your girlfriend is still waiting for you. Hurry up before he has another chance to argue. My mother rolled up the car window. My father stepped on the gas, quickly leaving Holt Chen in the rearview mirror. I noticed him still standing motionless by the roadside, watching us as if Area Chow were air. However, their figures quickly faded into insignificance, like grains of sand disappearing into the streetscape. I couldn't help but feel a little nostalgic. If it weren't for Area Chow, Holt Chen, and me, we would be sitting in the car together now, excitedly planning our graduation trip. However, there is no IFS a broader world, more splendid scenery. Even without him Holt Chen, I'll still see it the same. I smiled as if relieved, and began scrolling through travel guides on Zara Shoe. Ironically, today's social media algorithms are overly powerful. The school's confession wall accurately directed me to the most recent gossip post, which featured Holt Chen and Area Chow. According to the informants, on the night after the college entrance exams, Holt Chen and others sang karaoke until very late. At the same time, everyone else went home except him and Area Chow. It even included a photo of the two leaving a hotel together. The next morning, Area Chow was clinging to Holt Chen, holding his arm, while Holt Chen had his hands in his pockets, smiling faintly and lowering his head slightly. Some people in the comments are shipping the couple. And I noticed something was going on between these two a long time ago. They finally went public after the college entrance exams, confetti time and Tilda. Their looks are so well matched. All I can say is power. A couple of goals. I'm swooning. Others mentioned me. Wait, does anyone in the comments remember that there was always another girl with this guy? I'd heard they were childhood sweethearts. Is it possible that if it hadn't been for this childhood friend, Holt and Belle would have gone public with their relationship long ago? Avoiding all of this secrecy, the most popular comment remains this one. Oh, I discovered myself. Tilda, thank you for all the blessings. We will be happy together. Tilda. That profile picture is a selfie of Area Chow as she enters her profile. It is indeed her. The most recent post was made early this morning. The cover photo shows Holt Chen sleeping across from her, with warm yellow hotel lighting cast over his bare upper body, creating an intensely intimate atmosphere. She captioned it, "Nothing will be kept hidden any longer. Tilda, the summer that only belongs to you and me has begun." It must be said, she knows how to write the perfect caption. This post went viral even more than the confession about the schools. Others praised her. Some said she was hot, others cursed me. Scrolling down, almost every one of her previous posts was about Holt Chen. Only then did I realize Holt Chen's Saturday afternoon basketball games were dates with Area Chow. Only then did I know that the first half of our nightly walk home coincided with Area Chow's route, and she was always 3 meters ahead of us. Holt Chen chatted with me side by side, but his gaze was fixed on Area Chow in front. Only then did I realize that the red mark on his neck, which I had noticed while delivering notes to him during his hospitalization for COVID-19, was not a mosquito bite. Area Chow planted a special little strawberry. I felt like a peeping Tom, catching a glimpse of the sweetness they had shared behind my back for the past year. It turns out that all of the signs were there a long time ago. I was just too slow to notice how stubbornly I was clinging to my one-sided romantic fantasies until someone bluntly told me, "You are so ugly, I can't take it anymore." I turned off my phone screen as if fleeing in panic. My heart is pounding violently. It hurts a lot. I was the one kept in the dark, like a fool. However, in Area Cho's detailed records, I became the villain, depriving them of the right to love openly and forcing them to hide their affection. Tears dripped onto my phone screen, and only then did I realize I was crying, but I also wanted to laugh bitterly at the person I had been the night before. Several times, when I awoke from a dream, I instinctively opened the chat window with Holt Chen, only to discover there were still no new messages. Then hazily recalls his words, "You are so ugly," and I realize he is no longer the little boy who used to scream for my protection. It was not difficult to guess who leaked this gossip post. After all, the main subject of the gossip jumped into the comments to generate traffic. I still want to thank Area Chow. If I hadn't seen this post, I'd have had no idea that last night, while I was tossing and turning, tormented by thoughts of Holt Chen, he was busy sharing a passionate night with Area Chow. At this point, all hope I had for him had vanished. Perhaps it was the human self-preservation instinct that replaced the blind infatuation, and shattered expectations with a growing sense of disgust, which sprouted gradually. So much so that when Holt Chen finally sent a message, my heart felt no excitement or anticipation. Only after much exhaustion and weariness does the chat window open, revealing Holt Chen's belated apology. "Leela, I've taken Auntie's words to heart, and regardless of who was correct or incorrect over the last 2 days, I'll accept full responsibility. It's entirely my fault. I apologize. I've already ordered the flowers, which I'll personally deliver to your home in an hour. There have been some minor disagreements between us in the last 2 days, but we are meant to spend our lives together. Let's just let these minor disagreements pass. Okay?" So publicly humiliating me before the college entrance exams, which almost affected my performance, is just a minor inconvenience in his eyes. Does Holt Chen truly believe that no matter how he backstabs me, I will gladly accept him? Holt Chen sent me another message after I failed to respond. "Your poor Holt has one small request that you did not inform them about yesterday, did you? Please refrain from complaining to your parents again. I'm afraid they won't feel comfortable with you marrying me in the future." No wonder Holt Chen was so concerned about my parents' reaction at the school gate earlier. He believes it is not a big deal to upset me. Just a few kind words and a bouquet, and I'll forgive him. He may even expect me to marry him later, but my parents are different. It's challenging to change people's minds once they form a negative impression, especially after the incident before the exam in which he called me ugly. He knew deep down that he had gone too far. He was nervous and wondered if I had told our parents about it. Familiarity breeds contempt. It turns out that saying is true, but that's okay. We will no longer be familiar with one another. Crossing my bottom line will now come at a price and with consequences. I replied, "Holt Chen, you secretly flirted with the school beauty behind my back while stringing me along. You gave my notes to someone else and then shamefully threw them away. You called me ugly right before the political college entrance exam, with no regard for the consequences. Talking about spending your life with me. Do you deserve that? Out of respect for our previous relationship and the friendship between our families. Aside from what my parents saw at the school gate, I haven't told them anything else. As for whether they'd ever accept someone who hurt and deceived their daughter as a son-in-law, you're not stupid, so you should be aware of your actions. I sincerely appreciate all the care you have shown me in the past. But our journey together has come to an end." After sending the message, I blocked him and blocked his phone number. I never imagined that someone I once loved so much would leave my life in this way. Outside the car window, the scenery rushed backwards and vanished from view. I believe time will soon heal the wounds. Holt Chen left me. My mother was extremely concerned when I finally put down my phone. She sees an opportunity to ask "Are you okay?" Still, while speaking with Holt Chen, I shook my head and smiled through my tears. "We're finished talking. I just blocked him so that we won't be talking anymore." At the red light, my mother turned around and hugged me, which is more like it. Such a wonderful vacation should not be wasted on unpleasant activities. I also asked coquettish, "Can we go on a trip right now? I don't want to forget Holt Chen. He lives right across from me, and I can already see how annoying he'll be in the coming days. My parents readily agreed, and we set off on an impromptu journey. I had my luggage packed within half an hour of arriving home. Another half hour later, I arrived at the airport. Meanwhile, my parents had successfully applied for annual leave and booked their flight tickets. Everything ran so smoothly and effortlessly. I'm also thrilled. It's okay. I only lost a trashy love. I still have a lot of precious love. While I was waiting for my flight, the smart lock app at home alerted me that someone was lingering at the door. I turned on the video to see Holt Chen standing at the door, holding a bouquet of roses. After ringing the doorbell over 10 times and receiving no response, his expression became increasingly anxious. He started speaking loudly to the door. "Leela, I know everything you said was out of anger, and I genuinely believe I was mistaken. Please give me a chance. There were reasons for everything you mentioned. I can explain everything. Let's talk properly and avoid letting these misunderstandings harm our relationship." "Okay, didn't we save so many cities we wanted to visit before? When you are no longer angry, simply add me back. I have already prepared all of the travel guides. Just say the word, and I will book your tickets and hotels right away." The response to him was complete silence. Holt Chen twitched his lips and smiled bitterly. "Leela, I'm not sure if you're really not home, or if you're deliberately not opening the door. Please stop ignoring me like this. I'm genuinely heartbroken. Holding back from seeing and talking to me must be making you feel terrible, right? As I previously stated, find me when you are no longer angry. I will always be waiting for you to come back to me." He sat on my doorstep, holding flowers. For the whole 2 hours before leaving, his silhouette appeared defeated, devoid of the spirited young man he once was. So Holt Chen, who had previously called me ugly, could look this disheveled. After arriving in New York, I just checked into my hotel and received a friend request from Aria Chow. "I'm Aria Chow, a classmate of Lin's. I would like to apologize to you. Please make up with Holt. Okay? I am begging you. He's not eating, only drinking, and was recently rushed to the hospital with acute gastritis. I know you saw that post on the school's confessional wall. I specifically sent it to the blogger, but we did not have a romantic relationship. I paid for the hateful comments about you. I also secretly photographed him sleeping. I did all of this behind Holt's back, and he's innocent. You are the only person he truly likes. If I'm lying, may I be struck by lightning." So touching friend requests are limited to 50 characters in length. Holt Chen. Aria Chow sent me 3 in a row. I hadn't realized how much she wanted to be my friend. Given her sincerity, I approved her application and sent her a message. "You know, I saw that post, so you saw my comment underneath, and everything I said in that comment was correct. I dislike Holt Chen intensely. He does not eat, he drank. He ends up in the hospital, which is unfortunate, but what does it have to do with me?" Aria Chow's nickname was immediately changed to typing. She was about to respond immediately, but I had no interest in her or Holt Chen's affairs, and didn't want to know what happened next. I just blocked her. Looking out the floor-to-ceiling window. The towering buildings and intersecting streets are lit with lights that reflect the city's vibrancy and energy. I thought it would be challenging to remember Holt Chen amid such a dazzling and radiant Manhattan nightscape. The only slight regret is how Aria Chow managed to get the confession wall to delete the post. My comment below later gained traction and received several likes. I believe I responded well. I am the childhood friend mentioned in the comments. I don't like Holt Chen, and I hope he and the school belle stay together forever. Smiley expression. Feel free to send them. Please do not mistakenly target me. Okay. I returned to my home country sporting a head of fiery, voluminous orange curls. I like my new hairstyle, and my parents say I look like a young son. Many people didn't recognize me, including Holt Chen, who had grown up alongside me. When we met again, I was sitting on the second floor of the cafe, facing the door. Holt Chen walked in with a friend, took a glance at me, and then turned away. It had been a while since we had seen each other, and he had visibly lost weight, with unkempt stubble on his chin. After getting his drink, he simply stirred the ice with a straw, not saying anything to his friend. The first person to speak to Holt Chen was his friend. "We called you out today to discuss what's going on in your mind. We just want to help you, man. We can no longer bear to see you in this state. At first, we all thought you and Leela Lin would stay together forever, as a couple that would likely get married. But then Aria Cho moved here. And things started to get weird between the two of you. You even asked us to set up a situation where we'd play games before the politics exam, so you could call Leela Lin ugly in front of Aria Chow to win her over. That night after the exam, when we saw you and Aria Chow go to a hotel together, we all thought you'd succeeded, and were happy for you finally winning the school's beauty contest. But now that you've turned around and had a falling out with her, you're pleading to get back with Lila Lynn. Is this the Holt? We know we're your bros, man. Please be honest with us. Who do you really like? Just say the word, and we'll do everything we can to help you. Holt Chen gave a deep sigh. Lila, not Arya Chow, is the person I've always had feelings for. I never expected things to turn out this way. The man across from him could not help but laugh bitterly. If you like her, why did you ask us to set her up while calling her ugly? What were your thoughts? Holt Chen stopped stirring the ice cubes. There is no other way. Arya Chow will not sleep with me unless I demonstrate my devotion to her in this manner. Then all of my efforts during my senior year of high school would be futile, wouldn't they? But I didn't expect Arya Chow to be so greedy. She wanted to make things official, posting online behind my back and spreading it everywhere, giving the impression that we slept together and were in a relationship. This pushed Leela to her limit, and she became angry with me. If it had only been about calling Leela ugly, I could have easily gotten along with her. When his friend heard this, his face lit up with curiosity about the gossip. Speaking of which, what exactly is going on between you and the campus belle? Nothing occurred. That's just a story to appease your childhood sweetheart, right? He winked and gently nudged Holt Chen's shoulder. Come on, spill it. What does the campus bell sound like? Holt Chen shakes his head. I told you I was not asleep. I wasn't. I am entirely innocent. A friend gave him a look of disbelief. Cut the crap. We're buddies. There's no need to be so stingy. Only then did Holt Chen place his hand over his mouth and lower his voice. You're familiar with the previous steps. Everything that needed to be done was completed. She had a great figure and was very proactive, with obvious experience. However, at the final step, Arya Chow abruptly admitted that she had lied about not being a virgin. This was her first time, and she was afraid of the pain, so she asked me to be gentle. She also stated that, in addition to her first time, she wanted to give me her first kiss. She wanted us to be together properly, attend the same university, work in the same city, and progress from dating to marriage. I suddenly lost interest, suspecting she wasn't as carefree as I assumed. Everything Arya Cho desired, I only wanted to give to Leela. His friend nodded repeatedly. Seemingly in complete agreement. I heard Arya Chow did poorly in her exams last year due to an early romance and was forced by her family to repeat the year. However, she has not learned her lesson at all. This year, she has already hooked up with you. Arya Chow, as the name implies, is truly wild. Arya Chow has indeed overstepped her bounds. Being Holt's wife entails more than just having attractive looks and a great figure. It's also essential to come from the right background, as opposed to Leela Lynn Arya Chow's family history is entirely out of the question when it comes to marriage. No matter how flirtatious you are, a sudden romance will never be as good as a childhood sweetheart. At this point, Holt Chen's gloomy face broke into a faint smile. Yes, my wife must be Leela. Her world is so small that her eyes only see me as obedient. It put me at ease. Leela is very naive. When she arrived at the hospital to see me with COVID, she noticed the hickey that Arya Chow had just left on my neck. She assumed it was a mosquito bite. I almost laughed out loud because she was both adorable and pitiful. At that moment, I felt my protective and possessive feelings for her reach new heights. His friend also laughed happily. That's correct. When it comes to marriage, you should still choose a good girl. Someone like Arya Chow is just having some fun. If you genuinely want to settle down, with so many people eyeing her and her being well aware of her appearance, who knows when she will run off with someone else. I bet the orange-haired girl upstairs is the same type. Do you know what they say about girls like her? Oh, right. I smoke. I have tattoos. I dye my hair, but I am a good girl. Tilda. Their voices were much quieter than before, but I could still hear every word clearly, much to my disappointment. My heart was filled with shock and anger. I knew Holt Chen was rotten, but I never imagined he'd sink so low. Fortunately, I learned to cut my losses over time, withdrawing all of my affection, trust, and expectations for him. I hope Arya Chow can do the same. I removed Arya Chow from the block list and sent her the video I had just recorded. Then I went downstairs, walked gracefully toward Holt Chen, and his friend, Holt Chen, suddenly stood up. His eyes shifted from confusion to shock, then to delight. Leela, you have finally agreed to see me. When did you return to the country? Why haven't you told me? Unlike Holt Chen, his friend's expression darkened. He forced a smile at me before quickly getting up and leaving you two to catch up. I will not disturb you. Holt Chen ignored his friend. His gaze was firmly fixed on me. His eyes were smiling, as if he was very pleased. Your new hairstyle is stunning. This is the first time I have seen you in this style. It fits you perfectly. Don't ever say that. Once again, this is nonsense, okay? You are beautiful no matter what, and I love you exactly as you are. How could you ever think you weren't worthy of marrying me after playing abroad for more than a week? Have you finally cooled down? I only found out through my parents. You know, do not do this again. If you're going out to have fun, you must bring me with you. As Holt Chen reached out to touch my head, I pushed his hand away and said, if you continue to touch me, I will report you for sexual harassment in public. He froze. His eyes immediately filled with disbelief. Leela, you have changed. How can you speak to me like this? You were not like this before. You're so unfamiliar to me now. I replied coldly. You publicly called me ugly at noon on the last day of college entrance exams. We were destined to part ways from that point forward. The decision you made with your own hands caused us to part ways forever. Holt Chen became increasingly shocked. His tone became anxious. We're not going to let those 3 words ruin our childhood friendship. How many times do I need to explain? It was only a game. I retorted, just a game. Wasn't it a set-up you orchestrated to please Area Chow by gambling with my college entrance exam and sacrificing my dignity? Just so you could spend the night with Area, Holt Chen exclaimed sharply. Did you hear everything we just discussed? I gently curved the corners of my lips. I heard everything. Your friend is more intelligent than you. He ran as soon as he saw me. I not only listened to the recording, but I also sent it to Area Chow so she could hear it as well. Holt Chen was so anxious that he wanted to grab my arm, but his hand froze in midair and withdrew. Perhaps he remembered my earlier warning to report him for sexual harassment. He shook his head in agony, desperately trying to explain that Area Chow does not matter, but I'm afraid those words will hurt you. Leela, please listen to me. Even though I said those things about you just to have sex with her, my feelings for you have always been genuine. This is absurd. I burst into laughter. You hurt me on purpose to sleep with her, and you still claim to be sincere with me. Holt Chen furrowed his brow tightly, appearing to be in pain. Area Chow suggested it herself. We hadn't known each other very long, and she secretly asked if I wanted to try the forbidden fruit. She offered to let me break my fast after the college entrance exams. The pressure of senior year was overwhelming, and she was the school's most popular beauty. You don't understand how much of a temptation that was for a hot-blooded young man like me. Aside from Leela, I couldn't bear breaking my fast with you. You are the person I want to save for marriage. Initially, I just wanted to play along, but the heart is made of flesh. After all, I gradually developed feelings for Area Chow. However, I thought of you, Leela, as I approached the final step. I just wanted to give you my first kiss to keep my promise. I didn't fully commit to her. My first time remains intact. I am still pure. Please accept me, okay? Hearing all of this, my heart grew cold. Holt Chen, from beginning to end, you've only thought about yourself. Did you ever spare a thought for me? What if I had failed my college entrance exams because of your public humiliation? That noon, he looked at me blankly. I didn't expect you to take this situation so seriously. I assumed that after my explanation, you would not take those words to heart. Furthermore, do you know what you look like if I say you're ugly? Would you believe it? How could my Leela be so silly after speaking? He laughed with a hint of heartache. His tone softened significantly. Even if you don't do well on the exam and are unable to attend Zion or university as planned, you can attend a slightly less prestigious school. As long as we are in the same city, that is sufficient. Both of our families are well, often capable of supporting you. You will continue to have a good job in the future, or you will not be required to work at all. I can take care of you. Have you estimated your score? Tell me. I'll help you fill out your college preferences. Even schools with lower scores have effective programs. Leela, I just realized you were upset with me because I performed slightly worse on the college entrance exam. The exam isn't a big deal. If the sky falls, I will be there to help you pick it up. Looking at Holt Chen's increasingly determined expression, I got a general idea. He thought I was upset because he performed poorly. He still had no idea that my estimated score was more than 30 points higher than usual, and that I could easily gain admission to a much better school. I shook my head at Holt Chen, smiling. I don't need you to pick schools or majors for me, nor do I want you to control my life. I've got my life plans. If your impulsive humiliation affects me, and you remain unapologetic and indifferent, I will undoubtedly reject you. You understand that sunk costs should not be considered when making significant decisions. Stop, Chen. Remember how, before the college entrance exam, I asked you if we would split up because of a point difference on a multiple-choice question? Well, when you chose to humiliate me publicly before the politics exam, the answer became clear. People who take different paths cannot work together. I will not stay with someone who disrespects me. I made a mistake by liking and trusting you unconditionally, but one cannot keep making the same mistake. Now I'm reconsidering my decision. I am leaving you. Every word I've said has been sincere, and I've never spoken in anger. I'm telling you that we should end things here and that I dislike Holt Chen. Not a bit. As Holt Chen pleaded, panic and despair gradually crept over his face, nearly in tears. Leela, please do not dislike me. I now realize how wrong I was. I now realize how terrible I have been and how much I have hurt you. Give me another chance. I promise to make it up to you properly. Hit and scold me. Do whatever you need to vent your rage and forgive me. I will accept anything. Please, I never imagined we'd break up. After all these years, you have become as vital to me as breathing. I can't imagine a life without you. I simply cannot continue. I took a deep breath and cursed him. I have 3 words to say back to him. You asked me to curse you. You're disgusting. The words had barely escaped his lips. The once proud and unyielding youth now trembled, and the hand hanging by his side shook uncontrollably. His tears fell in torrents in large drops, crashing to the ground. After traveling this far, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sorrow in my heart. I also imagine how wonderful it would be if he were still the little boy whose eyes were fixed on me in 2nd grade. My mother was promoted at work, so our family relocated from a small town to a big city. However, the students in the big city seemed to think they were superior, and they all laughed at me for being a country bumpkin. They took endless pleasure in breaking my pink, Barbied pencil case, using their height advantage to mess up my hair, and every night, the water from washing my hair turned dirty green. They also enjoyed throwing my homework in the trash and mocking my Mandarin with a regional accent. Only Holt Chen, who lived across the hall, agreed to play with me. Despite being outnumbered 3-1 and having a bruised face, he stood up to the boys who bullied me. You've moved in across from me. Our parents are colleagues and even attended the same class. How could there be such a coincidence? It's fate that I'm supposed to protect you. He extended his hand to me with a warm smile. After that, no classmates dared to bully me again. I matured over time. My height increased. I learned to speak standard and fluent Mandarin, and my personality became gentle yet firm. Nobody bullied me anymore, but it was unexpected. Holt Chen, who had once protected me, was now the one who hurt me. My vision blurred slightly as the image of Holt Chen from my memories overlapped with the man standing before me. Holt Chen, we have said everything that needed to be said. Let us not continue our journey together. Entanglement would only make things worse. I hope we can part gracefully in this manner. The child that I once was will feel a little better. Holt Chen burst into tears once more. He sobbed and knelt before me. Leela Lin, don't go. I cannot live without you. I looked at the shop assistant behind me, feeling slightly awkward. Don't be like this, and don't end things in such a messy way. He raised his arm to wipe away the tears. His eyes read as he asked me, do you hate me so much? Leela, are you sure you want to end the relationship? I nodded. Yes, and it isn't breaking up. We were never actually together. Holt Chen lowered his head and stayed silent for a long time. He slowly stopped sobbing and looked up again. He stated, Leela, this is your choice, and I respect it. I will no longer make a fuss, and I will not repeat the mistake of disrespecting you again. Let's say our proper goodbyes. One final request. Can I get a hug? My heart softened, and I agreed to the final embrace. Holt Chen gripped me tightly, as if attempting to press me into his body. He whispered into my ear, Leela, thank you. I apologize, take care of yourself. After the college entrance exam results were released, my actual score was more than 10 points higher than my estimated score. In other words, I scored almost 50 points higher than I usually do. It was a completely exceptional performance. Schools that I previously couldn't even imagine attending are now within my reach. At this point, I am eternally grateful to myself for not becoming emotional over Holt Chen's words, but instead cutting my losses in time and preparing for the final exam in the best possible way, avoiding a critical moment. If the final subject had failed, no matter how well the previous ones had gone, it would have all been for naught. My parents and I hugged and cried tears of joy. The grandparents beside them also quietly wiped away tears from the corners of their eyes. 3 days later, my mother got a call from Holt Chen's father. I asked my mother to keep my score a secret. Despite Uncle Chen's polite inquiries, he couldn't figure out my score. He finally said what he wanted to say. Holt mentioned that Leela did not perform well this time either. We intend to send Holt back to school for another year. Does your child want to join? These two have been together since they were children, and it would be beneficial for them to have company while repeating the year. My mother firmly declined. Our XI score is not low enough to repeat the year. If your child is going to repeat a grade, you should act quickly and find a suitable school. I've heard that many schools aren't accepting students right now. Uncle Chen replied sheepishly. This time around, the whole college entrance exam results were extraordinary. He scored more than 50 points lower than usual. We even had the scores rechecked, and they confirmed there was no problem. It was simply a case of poor performance. According to Holt. He went off topic on a few significant questions in the humanities section. And he estimated he'd lose half the points for them. But I doubt he received many points at all. I couldn't help sighing. I'd noticed a few questions. Holt Chen veered off topic while they were reviewing the answers at noon before the politics exam. It was clearly stated in the keynote I prepared for him. How could he have analyzed it from an irrelevant perspective? Angle. However, at the time, I even doubted myself, believing that I was the one who had made a mistake, or that I had been wrong from the start when taking notes. Looking back, my notes were correct, but he never looked at them. He simply handed them directly to Area Chow. There's a certain irony in the situation. Fate has the power to bring us together as well as drive us apart. On the day the college entrance exam applications were due, the homeroom teacher specifically reminded everyone in the group chat that life is long. Don't compromise or alter your college application choices for someone else. It may feel romantic now, but when you look back years later, only your efforts will not fail you. No one is worth risking your future for. I smiled as I looked at the already filled out university application on the screen. The future is bright, and I refuse to stop moving forward for the sake of a fickle heart. The next day, I received a text from an unfamiliar number. Lila, I'm about to retake the college entrance exams. The school is located in the county town, allowing you to return to your residence. You've been staying with your grandparents for several days, because you didn't want to see me. I must have caused you a great deal of trouble. We probably won't see each other for the next year, but I'll work hard to return to Zon and rekindle your feelings for me. You will not find me in Zon. He is very confident that I will still go to the city we agreed on, but I did not respond at all. What's past is past. However, Area Chow has a much stronger grudge than I do. She posted a new update on a specific platform. How does it feel when a crush turns into trash? She took the video. I sent her excerpts that exposed Holt Chen's scumbag behavior in text form, as well as quotes from his friends. Each of their full names appeared in her post, effectively creating a blocklist of scumbags to avoid. It quickly gained popularity, receiving 1,000 likes in just 1 week. It was reported that after many people at Holt Chen's repeat school learned about the incident, they began to ostracize him. Even at Uncle Chen's workplace, many young people saw this post. Later, the Chens paid Area Chow a large sum of money to have it deleted. She also transferred 1,000 to me. Thank you. From now on, let us keep our eyes open and stop looking for boyfriends in the trash. I did not accept Area Chow's money, but I will take this advice to heart. Life at Peking University is both hectic and enjoyable, yet rewarding. I won a scholarship, received competition awards, and met a guy who made my heart race. Occasionally, my parents would mention Holt Chen. On my birthday, he sneaked out of cram school and returned home. He smelled of alcohol, standing on my doorstep with a large strawberry cream cake, insisting on celebrating my birthday. My parents stated that I was at school, not at home. Perhaps he had too many drinks. Holt Chen did not believe it. He insisted on visiting my house to celebrate my birthday with me in person. So, at 2 or 3 in the morning, he attempted to climb from his balcony to mine but lost his footing and fell. Fortunately, it was only the 2nd floor, so there was no immediate danger, just a fractured shin. Now I'm gone, limping, but Holt Chen's senior year must have had an impact on my life as well. Moves forward. Mom has a new promotion opportunity at work and can travel to the headquarters in Beijing, so she decided to accept it before moving out. She also advised Uncle Chen to keep a close eye on Holt Chen. If he does something foolish, such as climbing over to the neighbor's house again, the new neighbors may call the police. During my first year, I ran into Holt Chen on the Peking University campus near the end of the summer semester. He was wearing the same white t-shirt he had worn when we said our goodbyes. When he saw me, a light flashed in his demise, and he limped toward me step by step. Leela, it has been a long time. Please forgive me for inquiring about your major with the teachers at school. That's how I ran into you. Congratulations on being accepted into such an excellent school. I politely replied, thank you. Holt Chen had tears welling up in his eyes. Although he smiled, his voice trembled with emotion. It's so lovely to see you again. To hear your voice. This year of repeating the grade has been challenging, but I have managed to get through. This t-shirt has been my most valuable ally. He tugged on the hem of his shirt. When I see it, I imagine you'd still want to hold me, that we still have a future together. Isn't that a cold, commanding voice coming from behind a classmate. It was rather embarrassing to limp to our school. Ninga approached me from behind and drew me tightly into his embrace, intent on poaching my girlfriend. Holt Chen looked at the boy who used to make my heart skip a beat. His pupils trembled before turning to me with a pleading expression. Leela, are you in love? I smiled faintly. Yes, this is my first love, Ninga. After all, Holt Chen and I had never been officially together. Zhang NSA was, undoubtedly, my first love. However, Holt Chen appeared to be deeply shaken, his face turning extremely grim. I cannot even muster a proper smile. He moved his lips, but was only able to murmur. It's nice to see you doing well. I know this may be the final goodbye. I waved to Holt Chen. We have urgent matters to attend to, so we will leave first. At the very least, you should return home early. Your leg has not yet fully recovered, and you are alone in Jing City. Uncle Chen and the others will be worried. I said softly. Holt Chen, it's time for you to start your new life too. Goodbye. Holt gave a strained smile. He waved once, then turned to leave. His injured leg made each step slow, uncertain. He barely made it a few paces before the crowd swallowed him up completely. Only once his figure disappeared did Ninga finally break the silence. In a language he clearly wasn't fluent in. I think his legs and brain are both in bad shape. He muttered, walking around daydreaming in a short-sleeved shirt, imagining stuff about you. It's annoying. I laughed and patted his head. Don't be angry. Don't stoop to his level. His brain's not working at full capacity. Ninga grumbled, but the corners of his mouth twitched up in a reluctant smile. Come on, I said. Time to focus on the real task. Let's submit the form. He looked at my registration photo in the exchange application, his voice full of mock pride. Having such an outstanding girlfriend is tough work, you know. Now I've got competition everywhere. I rolled my eyes and hooked my arm through his. Then I guess I'll just have to keep choosing you every day. Tilda? He said seriously, flexing his arm like a comic book hero. I need to train harder. If anyone dares come near you, I'll scare them off on sight. I laughed at his theatrics, but deep down, I was grateful. For him, for this moment, for everything that lay ahead. The future was wide open. I planned to walk straight into it, arms open, eyes forward, because mistakes don't define us. Not the questions you messed up on the entrance exam. Not the person you fell for who couldn't love you right. Not the job that drained your soul. They're just one choice out of many. And life. Life is a long road paved with choices, one after another. If you made the wrong turn today, it doesn't mean you're lost. You can always turn back. Or take a new path. To everyone listening, I hope you find the courage to begin again. To choose differently. And to keep moving forward, no matter what. If this story lit a spark inside you, hit that subscribe button, share this video with someone who needs a fresh start, and drop a comment. What's one choice you'd make differently if you had the chance? Let's talk.